All right, let me get to my audio and we can rock and roll. Okay. On this episode of the Dailey Podcast, we'll be talking about the George Floyd situation and the riots that have unfolded because of it. We'll also talk about MLB's plan to return, or plans. All that coming up on the Dailey Podcast. June 3rd, 2020. June. Welcome to the Dailey Podcast. The last couple days in this country, I'm just going right into it. The last couple days in this country have been crazy. Have been absolutely crazy. I talked about the George Floyd podcast, or George Floyd incident, a little bit in my last podcast, and that was on SoundCloud. By the way, we're on YouTube today. We're live on YouTube, so you're getting the video and the audio. But I talked a little bit about the George Floyd situation the other day. I talked about how it has really impacted the United States. It brought the coronavirus down and took over as the top story in the United States. And over the last couple of days, since I recorded that and since I posted that, in the last couple of days, you've seen more riots, more destruction, a curfew put on in major cities, the National Guard called in, social media movements. And it's really led to what has been a sad point in our country's history right now. Because this is all on top of a pandemic that's been going on for 2 months, going on 3 months in about a week. Now, it's probably in a lot of states right now that a lot of the businesses are starting to reopen, and Pennsylvania's hitting the yellow phase on Friday, and in some counties on Friday, but all this is on top of a pandemic. So you have this pandemic, businesses getting destroyed financially, they can't open up, and then you have this happen, and then the riots. And imagine being a business owner in a major city right now and having your business that has already been suffering financially, because of the pandemic, and rioters and looters just throwing stuff in and through the windows, taking stuff, burning it down. What kind of world are we living in right now? Like, what kind of freaking world are we living in? This is insane. This is insane. And today, I said, you know what? I woke up this morning. I went on Instagram. And I just saw it. I mean, I just saw all the Blackout Tuesday things, and I support it. Don't get me wrong. I support, I support these peaceful protesters. I support the cause. I support, that racial, combating racial inequality, combating injustices, combating police brutality. But I just couldn't deal with the bashing of police officers, the bashing of the president, the going back to the same agenda that these people have in place to go after the president. Once they start going off the track, once they start defending rioters, defending people that are looting, defending people that are committing crimes against police officers, and then on the other side of the token, defending bad cops, defending cops that are pepper spraying little girls. That video was horrible. And seeing stuff like that, and seeing videos of that, and seeing footage of both sides going after each other, I'm just like, you know what? As much as I want to post this, black box, I don't know if it's enough, because you're just feeding into it. I support the cause. I support combating racial inequality in the United States. I support that. What the George Floyd situation shouldn't have happened. We need better relations with our police officers. The community needs better relations with the police officers. You should not be scared of police officers, nor should a police officer attempt to hold power over a civilian. And especially nowadays with a civilian of color, because that's going to spark outrage. And it's wrong. It's definitely wrong. And it's going to cause a ruckus, because this is not the only time it has happened. Flashback 4 years ago, Freddie Gray. Flashback to Trayvon Martin. Flashback to Michael Brown. No matter where you stand on whether Michael Brown was going for the cop's gun or not, it's still bad. I mean, it's still awful. So I just said, I'm deleting the app today. I'm deleting Instagram today, and I'm not dealing with it. I don't want to look. I don't want to see that today. I want to have a good day. I want to enjoy things. I want to enjoy, the outside, or I want to, I don't want to pay attention to that. I want that to be I don't want that negativity and those sites just in my head the entire day. I cannot be upset today. I'm like, what? I understand people are upset. I understand the cause. I support the cause, but I can't get behind. I can't look at people. I can't. I understand people have a freedom of speech too. I understand that, people can back the looters. People can back the rioters. I heavily disagree. I think it's fucking wrong. I think it's putrid. People can bash the president. It's freedom of speech. But I had to do my job and hold myself back to try and prevent me saying something regretful and getting into a fight. I didn't need that today. And I'm glad that I deleted it for the day. I'll re-download tomorrow. Tomorrow you can say whatever the fuck you want. But I just needed a day off social media. And boy, was it a good day. Because, it's just everything coming together. It's everything coming together. It's baseball. They're still in a fucking stalemate. I can't, I'm upset about that. I think I forgot to mention that in the intro, by the way. Shit. Whatever. I'm going to talk about the baseball proposals after I'm done with this spiel. But yeah, I mean, I'm still, they're still in a stalemate. I don't want to hear about that. All the news that is coming in towards my interest has been negative. With George Floyd, the riots, and then Major League Baseball failing to get a proposal. So, I'm just like, I'm not going to social media today. I am not looking at Instagram. I have to keep Snapchat because that's my only way of communicating with some people, and my group chats are in there with my friends. So I had to keep Snapchat. I barely went on TikTok. Facebook, I only have 7 followers. So it's really Instagram. And Instagram has kind of been my main form of social media. Because it was I think it was for me and many other people, was the first one that we've had. It was the first one that we got. And I've had my Instagram since 7th grade, 2013. So, it's always been for the last now 7 years, it's been a big part of my life on my phone. But I didn't need it today. I did not need it today. I don't know if I'll need it tomorrow either. I'm going to go another day without it tomorrow. Because I just do not want to see negativity. And yeah, I understand. These are the things that are going on right now. These are the things and I support, and like I said, I support the cause. Racial injustice should be fought in this country. But with all the political shit, with all the riots, and these disturbing stories coming out of these cities with protesters, riots, looters, businesses, the pepper spray, cops getting killed, cops getting run over, people getting run over. It's both sides. You're getting on both sides. I do not want to see that. The worst video I saw was that little girl getting pepper sprayed. The worst video I saw. A kid should not have to go through that. But I do not want to hear about 4 cops that are probably good. And they're not the same 4 cops with the George Floyd, that were around George Floyd when he died. I'm talking about 4 cops. I think it was either New York or Las Vegas, whatever. They were in some city, one of the big cities, and they were all shot. Then I hear about a cop getting run over in the Bronx by a car. I do not want. Today was just a day. Listen, we have the coronavirus going on, the pandemic going on. Thank God, we think it's kind of slowing down. We have this with these riots going on. I just can't. But between the two, I just can't. And baseball, I cannot. I could not do it. I just couldn't do it. It was a much needed break. And I think I learned a shit ton. Or no, I didn't learn. Really didn't learn anything. It was still no normal day in a quarantine, but it was a much more positive, good day. And you see the stuff on TV, you see the stuff on news, but you don't see it every second you go on your phone, or most of the time when you're on your phone. And it was, what could I say? Like I said, I had a good day because of it. So it was good. Real quick, I just want to let everybody know that I'm live. So, all right. Yeah. So yeah, it was a nice off social media day to day. And you've had the thoughts going in your head about what has resulted because of these riots and what has also resulted because of the pandemic. And you think to yourself, it sucks to be a business owner. It sucks to be a black man or a black person, African American minority in this society. It sucks to be a business owner, it sucks to be an African American, it sucks to be a police officer. And you think to yourself, like, Jesus Christ, these people are just, the fighting, these are the three groups of people that are just having it the worst right now. And I'm a conservative. I not a lot of the times I sound it, not a lot of the times I'm not your stereotypical conservative. I believe the core things, and I believe the core beliefs of a conservative: pro-life. I like the president, capitalist. Go down the list. But I'm also a Christian. Like, I believe, I do not want to see these things happen in the streets, and I do not want to see police brutality, and I do not want to see, business owners who work their ass off and who are having a difficult time because of a current situation that we were already in, and then had this happen. It's just saddening. It's really saddening to see that. So, it was a crazy couple days. There's really not. I feel like it's settled down. You haven't. They put on the curfews. They brought in the National Guard in the major cities. I haven't really watched much of the news tonight. There was a lot of threats going around that they were going for, some of the surrounding suburban areas of Philadelphia. They went up to King of Prussia the other night and they tore through the Macy's, or I think they just broke a window, whatever. But they made it to the King of Prussia Mall. It's just the biggest mall, I think, on the East Coast. So you just see, like, the effect it has. Like, you see, it's not in Philly anymore. It's coming up. It was coming up here, and I don't think we're going to see that. But the fact that we had to be on our toes, I think, last night, the last 2 nights in the suburbs, to see if these people will come up. These are not the protesters. These are rioters. These are not the people advocating for racial inequality, combating racial inequality. These are not the people that are combating and protesting the police brutality. These are rioters, looters that made it about the president, that made it. They're frustrated. They're frustrated about police brutality. They're frustrated about racial injustice. But they're not making a difference. They're just breaking shit and causing a war, trying to cause a war. And that's not how you change things. That's not how you change a law. That's not how you get people on your side. It's pretty disgusting. It's pretty fucking disgusting. So, there was a lot more I wanted to say about it, about the topic, but it's pretty sad in this country right now. It's very fucking sad. You don't have. We're like I said 3 times. We're in a pandemic. There's nothing open still. A lot of these states are starting their reopening phases. Pennsylvania is going to start reopening on Friday. Some stuff's going to come back, some stuff isn't. But one thing we really need in this country right now, and I fully, I really want to see back, is sports. Like everybody else, we've gone almost 3 months without sports, and with between businesses, I'm really centering around businesses with this, but between the business owners and workers and even essential workers, that are putting their health on the line right now, for this country to keep moving at somewhat of a rate. And this incident with George Floyd and the riots and the looters, there is nothing we need more right now than a sense of normalcy and sports to unite our country. And right now it's June 3rd. It's June 3rd right now. We should be 2 months into baseball. We should be talking about the NHL, the Stanley Cup playoffs. Stanley Cup probably like what? Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Should be talking about the NBA playoffs. Should be talking to, those two teams should be in their semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously we're in a different, we're facing different circumstances. And in the last couple podcasts I talked about, I think in the first one, I was talking about, the NBA, the NHL have plans to start up winter sports. And they're going to be playing in what would be their off season. NHL with the 2014 playoff, the NBA is putting all their teams in Disney World. I think the NHL is going to like Vancouver and Edmonton, or no, Vancouver and one other city in the United States. So they got their plans. The sport that should be on right now, the sport that is the summer sport, baseball. They don't have shit. And I was misinformed in my last podcast. I talked about how the players are greedy. I'm siding with the owners. I was really misinformed. Because and I'm not gonna lie, I did not really do my research on the proposals that have been brought up. So I did my research, and with that, a couple more proposals came out. I think Sunday, the Players Association put out a 114 game schedule, goes to Halloween. And now let's get this straight. So the players want to play more games. So they're going to take a prorated salary. They agreed on March 26th, which was supposed to be opening day, to prorated salaries. So that really they can get the season going. And that means, the big guys, the guys that are going to get paid are going to really lose money. And the guys that get paid a league minimum are going to get more. So I think with the most recent proposal before the two came out recently, the 82 games, Mike Trout, just to put it in perspective, Mike Trout will be taking at least like an 80% pay cut because of the prorated salary. Now you might think, okay, Mike Trout is going to make $430 million in 13 more years. He's going to be okay. And I agree. Yeah, that's right. They're going to be fine. But imagine taking 80% of your pay cut. You're the best player in baseball. You're consistently the best player in baseball. You hit, a bad year for you is you hit 270 with 40 home runs, 100 RBIs. You're a 5-tool player, Gold Glove, top outfielder. You're the best fucking player in the game. And an 80% pay cut from Mike Trout. Yeah, I know there's guys on. I mean, I'm sounding completely different than I did the other night. I know I sound completely different than I did the other night. But you just gotta think about it. I'm like, my nose is itching. The prorated salaries. With that plan, Mike Trout making, just thinking about that, 80% of the pay cut. So the beginning guys, the guys that you want to see, people watch the games for, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, the list goes on and on and on. The top players, Nolan Arenado, the guys that you turn on the games, some people, most of the league, the young kids, turn on the games to watch. You're gonna sink their payroll. You're gonna sink their checks. 80% pay cut for Mike Trout with that proposal. They did agree to the prorated salaries. And then with that proposal also, what causes Mike Trout to have an 80% pay cut, they would have to say take a second pay cut. So there's 2 pay cuts. So you agree to the one in March, and then with that one, you had to take another one. So so now we're seeing, Sunday night, the players, 114 games. They would get 70.3% of their original salaries with their proposal. So the more games they play, the more they get paid, the more they make up for the loss with the prorated salaries. They go to Halloween, expanded playoffs for this year in 2021. It sounds pretty good. No, if players do not want to play this year for whatever reason regarding the virus, they can opt out, and then they'll still get paid. So, I do side. I kind of agree now. I see now why they want this. And then the owners come back. I believe I was like the league. So this was from the 414 games was from the MLBPA, and the owners proposed a 50-game schedule. Full prorated salaries. Players make 38.4% of the previous number. So you went from 114 to 50. Now, here's the thing. The owners are going to lose revenue. As we know, you've already sunk about 40 games. Now, well, you sunk 2 months. You're going to sink 3 months of the season. So that's 40 games. That's like, that comes out to about 40, 50, half a season. So what? That's 30% of a season. All right, we'll call it like 40 games. Like I said the other night, half your home games. Figure you cut we'll call it 40. You cut the 20 into home games. Okay, well, yeah, you cut the 20 into home games. So you lose. No, that doesn't make sense. I'm doing awful math. Okay, so, all right, whatever. So you have the 3 months, and then you figure half of those games in the 3 months are home games. So you're losing revenue by the home games. You're losing the fan revenue. You're losing all that. The owners are still losing revenue. They're still losing, and then on the away games, they're still losing the TV deals. They're still losing the ratings. It's all from TV with the away games, and then the home games are losing even more with no fans. And then they ask these players to take the prorated salary so they save money. And then some owners do not even want a season. They either be like, if we lose this amount because of, because of the players wanting more, we're not even going to have a season. So I mean, the players are going to have to take another. I mean, they're going to have to. They're definitely going to have to take a cut. They're going to have to pay. They're going to be paid. Have to be paid less in order to really get a season on, and then maybe next year. Then there's the collective bargaining agreement. There's a lot of moving parts to these proposals. A lot of moving parts. But to this 50-game proposal, it went from like 82 to 114, now down to 40, 50 games. It's like it's all over the place. I mean, the sides are really still the same. The players want to play more. They want to be covered with, if you don't want to play, they want to have their, they want to make up some of that ground from the other proposal with the 70, they'll be making 70, like I said, 70.3 of the original salary with 114 games. Then the owners come back and they shave off 64 games from that with the full prorated salary, with the players making 30.8% of that number of the. I forget, it was either the 70.3 or whatever, but they'd be still making less, significantly less. So these are, I mean, they're gonna have to. I mean, the next few days, some side has to budge. I believe now. Now I have a little bit more confidence now. They're starting to make. They're making move. They're moving the train a little bit. They're throwing stuff out. But here's the thing: you're gonna have to have a set date. Manfred has to have a set date. You got to be like, listen, okay, we need to have a decision by June 10th or June 15th or whatever. You need to have a decision by that date, whether we're going to do this year or not. And I believe if you put a date, an end date, they're going to do it. They already told the player. I think they already told the players to start getting ready, to be ready at any time, to go to report to camp or whatever, to report to a spring training. So you have to make something happen. Because if you don't really, if you don't have a season this year, if Major League Baseball does not have a season this year, you're going to look at for next year, loss of ratings. Players are going to fucking lose their shit. Fans are going to lose their shit. Interest is going to be lost. The game will suffer. The game will suffer tremendously. And, I just can't wrap my head around a summer with no baseball. Even if it's in the form of no fans, even if it's not normal. If I don't see a major league team playing against another major league team this summer at all, in a major league ballpark or a major league spring training site, I'm going to be hurt, as many other fans are. I've already accepted the fact that I can't go to the ballpark. I get that. Safety reasons. You don't want to spread the virus. You don't want to spread anything. You don't want people to get sick. You care for people's health. I get that. But during times like this, you have a pandemic, you have a social problem, you need baseball. You need sports. And you would be the first sport back. They would be the first sport to return ahead of the NBA and the NHL. They all return at the same time. Baseball's not going to have that leverage. They have the opportunity to have that leverage, grow the game, grow popularity, grow ratings and whatnot and everything. The game can grow. And if that can't happen, if you can't even put anything on this year, you can't put a product out, you're going to lose people. It's going to sink. It is going to sink. And will it recover? You don't know. Bridge you hope to cross if you get there. Because right now there's still a chance. There's still a chance. Chances, still opportunities. It's obviously better to put something out than nothing. I'd rather them start at the same time as the NHL and the NBA rather than, or during their seasons, rather than, okay, we're not putting anything on. Like, at least you have something. You put something on the table. But with all these states and all these governors saying pro sports teams can come back and start up again, and, you know, these states are reopening. With the George Floyd and the riots, the corona pandemic, you need to come back. You need to return, bring unity, and bring fun to the United States, to this country, because they need it, because we need it. You know, you have, I mean, you can get the logistics lined up. You can get the, if the NBA can do it, the NHL can do it, MLB can do it. And they're playing outside. They're not indoor. They're playing outside. You can play in the home ballparks. You can do it. Travel, you can figure it out. Health and safety, that's always a question. But if the NBA and the NHL have something, you can have something. It's a little ridiculous. It's really ridiculous that they're taking this long, that both sides are still in their same thing. I'm now more pissed at the owners. I was dead wrong the other night. I didn't know anything the other night, if I'm being honest. The owners ain't doing shit. They don't want to lose money. I'd rather see them not play and the game suffer tremendously. And the players, I like where they're coming from with the 114 games and the salaries. I understand that's what you want, but you have to find some common ground. You have to figure out a way. They have to put some product out this year. They have to, or else this game is going to go to shit. And I'm not watching the KBO. Fuck that. I'm not watching the KBO. I want Major League Baseball. It's good and all. It's great to maybe pass the time. It's great to watch some baseball. It's good. It's good. I'm not faulting anybody that does, but to me, I want to see Major League Baseball. I want to see the Philadelphia Phillies play this year. I want to see the New York Yankees play this year. I want to see the New York Mets. The list goes on. I want to see those teams play. I want to see those teams play on a diamond. I want to see the stars. I want to see everybody. There needs to be baseball this year. Oh, craziness. All right. I'm probably going to end this. Actually, I am going to end it. So, yep. will go on Thursday. Thursday, I'll probably discuss. Hopefully, there's some news about Major League Baseball. Hopefully, I think by Thursday. I could be wrong, but I think by Thursday, this George Floyd thing will settle down and simmer. But we really don't know what's going to happen right now in this country. We really don't know what is going to go on with the riots and everything. I mean, it's still crazy. So we have to figure that out. I mean, we have to see what kind of unfolds. But I'll definitely be talking. Hopefully, be talking some baseball. We'll also talk about. I'll sprinkle in some college football. Sprinkle in some other stuff. So we'll see what happens. So that is it. Thank you everybody for watching, tuning in. I don't think we had anybody on the YouTube, but it seems like it's gonna work with this. I'm doing the recording, and then I'm also streaming live on YouTube. Thank you for everybody that tunes in and listens, and I will see you guys Thursday.